I keep trying to start this and Ditto is like, stop. He's like whirling dervish. I feel like I'm starting out pretty slow today. It's a NASCAR beer day, Coors Light. You're shaking the camera. So, go grab your drink with whatever you're drinking. Hopefully I can wake up a little bit. Can you please? What are you sassing for? Can't you see that I'm trying to record? Say hello. What? You're not a lap dog. You're not a lap dog. Let's try this again. Hey guys, Chevy Rel here. This is episode 48, I think maybe. It's typically a shit show here. My name is Chevis. We are in the stuff room, hence Chevy Rel's stuff. I hope that life is treating you all safe and healthy. Don't know how happy most of us are. It's weird times, people, weird times. The last time y'all saw me, I did a vlog, which was super fun. I got some pretty rad stuff in the mail. The highlight of that vlog was me talking about roadkill, and the comments were amazing. I loved them all. I cannot believe, for those of you who are totally confused, I'll link the video up here. I cannot believe that I forgot to mention deer. Everyone's like, what about deer? I can't believe you didn't say anything about deer. It's like, right? I've hit 2 of them. You'd think they would have been like at the top of the list. Maybe it's a traumatic event and I'm trying to block it out. I ended up going back and watching that cane toad documentary that I was telling you about. You can watch the entire thing on YouTube. It is from 1988. So I would be very interested to see how much has changed in Australia just since 1988 when that documentary was made. They showed a map where the cane toads were introduced. This is a knitting show. For those of you who are here for that, you can fast forward through all my ramblings. There's not much. On that documentary, they showed on the map where the cane toads were introduced, and then they showed how they spread throughout the country, and they showed like a proposal where they thought that they might end up after some years. And I wonder what that map looks like today. It would be interesting to see, which I guess I could have looked it up and I didn't, but it would be interesting to see how true it was, because I almost wonder if they've spread further than they even anticipated they were going to back in 1988. A lot of you said that you would watch me do vlogs all the time. I enjoy doing vlogs, but it is very time consuming, and I do think there is such thing as a little too much. So I'm scared I'll run out of stuff to talk about and then I'll be boring, you know. And that is the worst insult you could ever give me. If someone ever called me boring, I might have to fight you. Oh, and I almost forgot. The cane toads, I said I couldn't remember what they were introduced to eat. I thought it was like locusts, and then I was like, no, it's grasshoppers. It was beetles. And they didn't even end up eating the damn beetles. They introduced them and they didn't even eat the bugs. So basically they just created a shit show. They eventually ended up figuring out how to get rid of the beetles, but now they had created this entire other problem with the cane toads. Let's get on to the actual knitting. Since I'm wearing this, it's my Swancho, guys. I finished it. It turned out great. I absolutely love it. It's the Ninilchik Swancho by, do I know who it's by? Caitlin Hunter. Yes, I knew that. It's a $7 pattern. The yarn is Knit Picks City Tweed, except for the turquoise is Knit Picks Stroll. Remember how I told you that Fruity Knitting had that way of catching your floats so that you don't have to twist it every time, and I used that technique. I really liked that technique. There were only a couple rows or a couple instances throughout the pattern that you had to catch your floats. I'm not totally in love with the end product. Okay, see this right here? See that right there? See that right there? See that right there? Do you sense a theme here? That is a hole from that. Now, I could have been doing it wrong. Maybe I needed to pull that, pull it more taut or something. But it did it all the way around, which it's fine. No one would ever know that if I didn't point it out. Because it's tweed, it definitely works in my favor because, I mean, look at these little black speckles. Yeah, those are black speckles. I wanted to make sure it wasn't the same issue because I did catch them in there and it didn't happen in the gray. I don't know. I probably did something wrong, but I just wanted to let you know since I said how much I loved that technique. Let me stand up. I will tell y'all, I put a bra on for you today, but I did not change out of my pajama pants. I also put mascara on because if I don't have mascara on, it looks like I have no eyelashes because they're gray. Silva Sisters Unite. Look at my skunk stripe, y'all. I noticed on my blog, I'm like, wow, my hair doesn't look very gray. You know, like I'm sitting here talking about how I'm growing my gray hair out. And in that vlog, it doesn't look like I have gray at all. Well, that's because it's all right here. It was down in the vlog and split down the middle. There's a squirrel in the yard. Fatty. It was split down the middle so you couldn't see it. Like all my gray is right here. I don't even have any in the back. I am really excited about it growing out though. I do have to tell you. Okay, let me show you the whole Swancho. There are two sizes, a 1 and a 2. Size 1 is an extra small to a medium, and then size 2 is a large to triple X, I think. Of course, I'm a large, and I didn't want it to be ginormous. I looked at a bunch of other people's, how theirs fit them. How I remedied that is I followed I'm not any good at this game. Was anyone ever in sports where you had to do wall sits in your thighs every time I hover in a public restroom? Which is every time because gross, don't sit on a public toilet seat. Every time I hover in a public restroom, I always think of wall sits too. Your thighs are burning. Now I forgot what I was talking about. The way I remedied that is I knit the size 1, but I went up a needle size to get a bigger gauge. I love the way it fits. The only thing is I do wish that the neck was a little wider, maybe a little. This is why it's called a Swancho, because it's more like a poncho. For those of you who aren't familiar with the pattern, you have to wear a shirt under it because if you bend over, oh look, my shirt's see-through, see? Somebody could get a show if you're not careful. It is seriously so comfortable though. I absolutely love it. The one thing that I had to change, now I'm down too low. Hold on. That was me, ditto. No one's here. Where she has you do the sleeves, right? This said in the pattern 7 inches. Well, 7 inches was ending like right there or something. Like the picture in the pattern, the sleeves are normal size. And I was telling the girls on VKN Sunday morning about it. And my friend Lindsay mentioned that she thought maybe it was because I picked the smaller size and just like the way my gauge worked out. I ended up knitting a lot longer of a sleeve. Ditto, get out of there. It moves nice, right? If you're reaching up for something, it does go up. So you have to be aware of that. I do wish now, and I'm not ripping it out, I don't care that much because this works just fine. But I do wish that I would have picked the larger sleeve. It is ribbed, so it's fine. I would like this to be a little looser. When I put it on, I have to kind of push my arms in and get it, worked around. So that's really the only thing about it. Other than that, I love it. This yarn really is great. It's super soft. Overall, I love it. I'm going to get tons of use out of this garment, and there you have it. Check it out. I have another FO, right? My Lights and Twig shawl. I don't know if y'all remember, but I was going to knit the large shawl and I was going to add gray to it. I decided that I really don't have anything that's one solid color. So I just kept it as that. And I knit a lot of large shawls. I like large shawls, but this is such a good size. It's super squishy. It's just such a good size. Barbara's patterns are so cool. I did a whole bunch of techniques that I have never done before. She does different stuff. She did like a modified I-cord bind off that was pretty slick. I've never done. You know, sometimes I feel like the lighting is good for this and sometimes it's not. You can't really see the lights and twigs. You can very much in person. It's just getting blown out. It's picking up the light bits. In IRL, you can see the lights and twigs a lot better. Mineville Wool Project from Simply Socks Yarn Company is the yarn that I used. The colorway is Arctic something. I don't think you can get it anymore. They're kind of a get it when you can buy it sort of deal. I got a couple crochet blocks. Y'all know that I am working my way slowly but surely through this book. You might remember this one from my son of a bitch. I crocheted this, and when I wove in the end, somehow I cut something or did something and the whole thing started to unravel. So I made another one. Then I also finished this guy. I will add those to my little pile up there on my shelf. And that puts me at, I'm on number 33 is what I'm going to be working on the next time. Ditto, don't you dare eat my shawl. Go play somewhere else. My other FO is my spinning. This is fiber that was gifted to me. I talked about this on my last episode, I believe. Alaskan Yarn Company, and that's in Homer, Alaska. This was hand painted 2.9 ounces in the Sprouts in the Ashes colorway, and it just says 100% wool blend. So I'm guessing that's not superwash. Here is my end product. It's not quite the right green. It's a little more kermity, and I think that when I was showing you the braid, I was having the same issue. I don't remember how many yards I got out of it, but this is boingy, boingy, springy. It's pretty cool. I fractal spun it. Ditto. Out. You're as bad as a little kid. Out. Go somewhere else. Go get a toy. Go eat some food. Go take a nap on the couch. These are my colors, people. These are my colors. I can't remember. I think I got 124 yards. And I was like, God, that's not a lot of yardage. Like, what did I do wrong? And then I looked up and it was only 2.9 ounces. I was thinking it was a 4-ounce bump. And I'm like, okay, that makes a lot more sense. I don't know if you can see my spinning. I had a lot left over on the bobbin. Well, not really a lot, but enough left over on the bobbin that I chain plied it. And it was just enough to make a perfect size coaster. Our kitchen table, you need a coaster, not really so much from condensation, but from heat. If you have like a hot cup of coffee, it sets on the table and it gets that like weird foggy where like the lacquer separate, it's not lacquer, I guess, whatever the ceiling is separates from the wood and it gets that like white foggy look to it. So I usually use my swatches for that, and this turned out perfect. So that's what it looks like chain plied. This, I don't know, that table right there, you can't see it, but it's like a half moon. And I would like to make a little mat in the shape of a half moon for the top of that to, you know, set more stuff on, because that's what you do in the stuff room, right? You keep adding stuff to it. So those are all my finished objects. You know what that means. Whips! Always love the whips. Oh wait, I forgot. Ugh. I have one more FO that I forgot about. Just wait until you see this, you guys. You're gonna be like, what? This is brand new. You haven't even seen this cast on. That's how exciting this FO is. Dun, 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 dun. Look at my little wall hanging banner. I was gonna say banister. The f does that mean? I knew that this is what I wanted, right? I wanted a banner to display my enamel pins, which you know have all made their way to me by way of, okay, I lied. I did lie, and I figured that out. I bought that one, and I completely forgot about it, and it was because it was so long ago. It was before the enamel pin craze really caught on. I did not buy that thinking that I would ever buy another one. I bought it because it says I love a good fingering, and you know I love anything naughty. Just like that right there. I love all the things. Okay, so these are all gifted to me. The banner, I looked up wall hanging on Ravelry, and I kind of perused through. I looked at a few free patterns. I looked at a few shapes. I knew what I wanted. So I loosely based this off of a few different patterns that I looked at. So all I did was I cast on, I think 3 stitches or 2 stitches. And then I just added a single crochet in at the end of at the beginning and the end of every row, which gave me this V. And then I just started, once it got to whereabouts I thought I wanted it, I just started going up on single crochet. Then when I got to the top here, I switched to double crochet, chain 2, skipped 2, double crocheted, so that I had this stagger pattern. And then I did a single crochet all the way around it. And then I purposely stopped so that I had leftovers for the fringe, which it's a little fluffy. I probably could have used less on the fringe, but it works just fine for me. This yarn is extremely precious to me because Angie B sent me this yarn. These were mini skeins from her first ever attempt at dyeing yarn. And what better way to display these than this. I think it's awesome. And then a lot of the wall hangings that you'll see on like your bougie boho websites have driftwood and stuff like that. And yeah, I thought that one of my old antique aluminum knitting needles worked way cooler for me. I will add to this as I get enamel pins, and it makes me super happy every time I look at it. This is my last FO. So this was Dan's idea of a mask alteration. It's the plague doctor. Now back to whips. This is my first whip. This is in, of course, a canvas ball sack from Roberta, Steel City Stitcher. Angie B, if you are watching, like fast forward a little bit. This is a dress that I can't pronounce. It's a free pattern. You know, free patterns are often not test knit. This is not a beginner pattern. And I think I mentioned that on the last episode. And it's not that because it's hard. It's not a beginner pattern. Does that make sense? Because it's hard. The techniques are very easy. It's just not a very in-depth pattern. She says, double the stitches here. Make one in between all the stitches. It's very choose your own adventure. That's what I said the last time. This is how far I've gotten, which isn't very far. This is my progress keeper from Andy the Knitress. So I've gotten this far, right? Since the last time you saw it. The reason that I haven't gotten very much further is because it's in centimeters instead of inches. So I had to convert. But the pattern says for a 3 to 6 month size, which let me show you the dress again. For the 3 to 6 month size, from the neck until the ruffle, you need to knit for 14.5 inches. That needs to measure 14.5 inches. Well, right now, and it's rolled up. Right now, I'm at 11 inches. I mean, I don't know about babies. You know how I'm with Homo sapien offspring. I'm not very good at it. So I asked all my friends who have spawned offspring what they thought. And again, Lindsay, I keep bringing Lindsay up. Lindsay Googled it and found all the, what the measurements were supposed to be and all that. And she found awesome measurements. It'd say from the shoulders to the knees, it's 17 inches for a 6 month something. Those aren't the right numbers, but you get what I'm saying. According to the measurements she found, if I made this per the measurements of the pattern, the dress, which is more like tunic style, right? And I was picturing this with some super cute little leggings. It would come down to her ankles at a 6 month. That's not even a 3 month. That's a 6 month size. So I just added for the ruffle. I'm just going to do the ruffle from here. So that way it's a little more tunic-y. And the back has a little button thingy. So you'll see this again. The other thing is I wanted to get a super cute pair of leggings and I looked all over and couldn't find any online. Of course, I'm not going to the store. So I think I'm going to sew some. And since it's a 3 to 6 month size, I mean, she is due in May, but I don't think it's a big deal if she gets it after she's here. There you have it. Whip number 1. Oh, and that yarn is the Chevrons stuff colorway. I forgot to say that. I love how it's pooling right here. I know a lot of people that would drive you insane, but I flippin' love it because I don't like matchy-matchy. That is Kelly Marie Yarns, and I don't know if she is still dying or not. I linked her in the show notes. I got that in my fiber share package a few years ago. My next whip is in my bag from Christy. If you haven't seen the vlog, Christy sent me this, made it herself, and it's perfect sweater bag. I'm in love with it so much. Okay, this is holding my Boxy Chevron by Suzanne Sommer. If any of you have knit Suzanne Sommer patterns, which some of you might remember, that shawl right there is my, I wanted to call it a flaming flamingo. That's not it. So, something flamingo. I don't know. It's gone. But it's something flamingo, and it's brioche awesomeness, and it is seriously one of my favorite shawls. I wear that probably the most outside of my Lost in Time shawl. Oop, does this work? It sure is. I'm working from home, so it's kind of like being on call. That's why my phone's on. Anyway, flamingo flavor. Ha! Did y'all see the light bulb come on? Not quite sure where in the depths of the filing cabinets in my head that came from, but flamingo flavor. For those of you who have knit Suzanne Sommer patterns, they are a challenge because she has super cool construction that is not normal. I like a challenge. I like my vanilla straight up stockinette, but I also like to be challenged a little bit. And that's definitely what this sweater is doing. Let me just show you this real quick. I'm going to put pictures on instead. Here is a picture of the Boxy Chevron. You knit the sleeves flat. And this isn't giving anything away because obviously I'm going to be showing you the sweater as I knit it, and you're totally going to see that as we go, right? Y'all know that I don't often wear my 3/4 length sleeve sweaters. I am going to add length to the sleeves for sure 100%. One thing that I didn't know when I purchased this pattern, which is, did I put the price on here? No, I have no idea how much this is. Hold on, I'll look, because I always like to know. how much it is, you know? This pattern is about $7.40. It's €6.50. Now, where was I? The thing that I did not know when I purchased the pattern is that there are 2 separate sleeve options. You can do this one, which is a straight sleeve, or this one, which is my favorite and what I'm doing, a bias sleeve. This I found on Instagram. It's in another language. I did not see it in the project pages, so I'm not seeing any of her notes or anything. But when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, I love her mod. I love that. That's awesome. That's what I want. I actually got into doing the pattern, and that's when I noticed that that is an option to do the bias sleeve. That's what I'm doing. I'm pretty stoked about it. I started the sleeves last night. It was a challenge only because I made it a challenge to myself. You know, I'm a 2 at a time knitter, right? Anything I can do 2 at a time, I knit 2 at a time. I attempted to do these sleeves 2 at a time for about 5 minutes. And then I was like, oh, hell no. So I am doing these sleeves 1 at a time. There was too much yarn juggling because you're striping them, obviously. And I got this done over the course of, I can't remember, the second Fantastical Beasts or Fantastic Beasts, whatever that Harry Potter, whatever the second one is, with Johnny Depp. Griswold, whatever that movie was. I got this done basically the whole time. I mean, this is from cast on and me messing with trying to do 2 sleeves and ending with just the one. It doesn't look like much here because it's not blocked, but the contrasting stripes are reverse stockinette. It actually looks cooler right now on this side, I think. But once it's blocked, I think that it's going to look pretty rad, which this would also work for our 80s Mal, just based on the colors. We'll talk about that later. Here's her sleeves, and that's what my sleeves are going to look like. Then the body is my Tucson, and I swatched, y'all, because I always swatch for sweaters. And I went up a needle size. The pattern calls for a US 4. I went up to a 5, and holy shit, I got gauge. I have no idea how it happened, but I did. So that's what the body of the sweater is going to look like, as well as, you know, that color in between there. These are super cool because they're thick stripes and then you go down to skinny stripes. You'll be seeing more of this on the sleeves. Now, these black blips, which I like and I think are cool, will probably not be on the body. I am going to helically, is that a word? I'm going to do that thing, and that's where you use like 3 balls of yarn. I mean, these are yarn babies, man. This is Colossal Sock by Dream in Color in the Tucson colorway. And this was made, I think this was a special gig for Simply Socks Yarn Company because it has the Simply Socks tag. I don't know that she's getting any more. You might be SOL. I don't know. But these are yarn babies. This is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, a 525 gain skein is a 525 gain stain. I don't know what I'm talking about. I have half a beer left, so I can't even blame alcohol for that. The Tucson was the cake is so big, which it's in my yarn management for this. Sorry guys, I am all over the flipping place. This is a bag that Billy the Crafty Floridian made for me because, you know, I love owls. And then in it, I have a ball sack. This came from Winterberry Yarns, I believe, right? Am I saying that wrong? She doesn't have a tag on it. Yes, she does. Winterberry's Yarns. She made me this ball sack, and it's elastic. So I have the blue yarn in there, and I have this ginormous cake that barely, if it was any bigger, it would not have fit on my ball Wanda. Okay, my contrasting color is Mel Abrigo Sock in the cyan colorway. That's made in Peru. Now, there is a difference in this yarn, quite a big one, to be honest with you. They're both considered fingering weight yarn, but the Mel Abrigo Sock is considerably less in diameter than the Colossal Sock. The Colossal Sock, I would say, is a heavy fingering, where the Mel Abrigo would be a light fingering. Now, typically, I think that most people would not want to mix those two because of the inconsistencies in the weights. But I think for this, it's going to be perfect. It's a perfect use for that difference in weight. I think it's going to work great. So that's why I went ahead and did that. It was mainly the color, which I have to thank Rachel for at Simply Socks. She's the one. You guys, Simply Socks is so awesome, and everyone wants to go there. There's 17 tons of yarn, but it can be a little overwhelming when you're looking for something specific. I mean, don't get me wrong, going in there and just like perusing around and buying all the yarn is amazing as well. But when you're looking for something specific, if you're just like roaming around, it can be overwhelming. I have to tell you, and take this into consideration when you go into other yarn shops as well. Ask them. They know their inventory. They're the ones pulling the yarn for the shipments when it's going out. They're the ones that are, answering customer service questions and unpacking the inventory when it comes in and putting it on the floor. They know their product. So I showed Rachel those skeins like, hey, I have this in Tucson, and I'm thinking I either want, and I can't remember the colors. We threw around a few colors and I settled on pulling out the turquoise, and she went right to like 3 different options. Always ask the workers. I know some people are a little shy, or you think that you're bothering them or something, but 9 times out of 10, they are super helpful. And if they're not, F them. What do you gotta be rude for? Oh, I'm sorry. I hate that, you guys. I'm going off on a tangent. I hate it when I go into a store and I ask somebody to help me and they act like I'm the biggest pain in their ass of the day. Like, I'm sorry that I'm asking you who works here for help. Did I interrupt your break? Anyway, tangent over. I am very excited to knit on that, and we'll continue to knit on that. To be quite honest with you, I'm going to want to knit on that instead of edit the podcast. My last whip is what I finally decided to cast on for my 80s Mal. And look at my project bag. This is an oldie. I also got this at Simply Socks. This is like an advertisement for Simply Socks Yarn Company. It is pretty great, I have to say. And I don't know who made this. I don't know if they still make bags. Let me see if there's a tag. 3 bags full. 3 bags full studio.etsy.com. However, a console TV, how is that for the 80s? I mean, I know this is probably more 70s, but I grew up in the 80s. And while our TV didn't have legs, we did have those big console TVs that sat on the floor and had the knobs, I lived out in the country with the Farmer 5. You had to get up to change the channel. I know this. This is for the 80s Mal. I am doing this Mal with Beth from Shadows and Pearls. She has a podcast, the Shadows and Pearls podcast. We are also including Bente, which I'm saying wrong. I suck at pronunciations, guys. And I watch her podcast. I hear her say her name all the time, and I still feel like I'm saying it wrong. So Bente, I still feel like I'm doing it wrong. She's rad. She wanted in on the 80s. She made a colorway. I've also mentioned that at one point, she could not ship yarn to the U.S. She can now. The embargo's been lifted. So if you want any of her yarn, which she has colorways that are specific to the 80s Mal, she has one called 80s Kids and one called Mixtape. And she might have more. She definitely has colorways that look 80s for sure, even if the colorway name is not 80s. But what the 80s mail is it started April 1st. Be sure and tag your Instagram hashtags. That's where I will be drawing for prizes. You have until July 1st, right? I think. Gosh, now I'm second guessing myself. I think the end date is July 1st. I erased it, so I don't know the answer. Pretty sure it's July 1st. It's anything, I mean, don't stress about it, yo. It's anything 80s. The colorway can be 80s. The pattern name can be 80s. It can be something they wore in the 80s. We wore in the 80s. It could be a neon, which is in the 80s. It could be a toilet paper crocheted cover, which my grandma Nada had. These things with the creepy doll. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I actually have been seeing that recycled because of this whole Rona situation that we've been dealing with. They were like, oh, remember these from back in the day? It's a good way to hide your teepee so people don't steal it, because they would never in a million years think that that hideous doll is actually hiding a roll of toilet paper. Anyway, so do something for the 80s. I picked, and I also have to show you my yarn management, always with the ball sacks. They're the Carmen's shopper socks. But if you search for it on Ravelry with just that name, it doesn't come up. If you search slouchy socks, it comes up, and it'll be linked below if you want to see these. I am loosely using that pattern because it's a top down, and I am a toe up, 2 at a time, fish lips kiss heel. The main thing about the socks that I'm going to be following is the leg. I know that all y'all in the 80s wore these socks. We all had them. I'm pretty sure my mom had like 982 pairs of them, all white. Tons of these socks. Andy the knittress is also knitting slouchy socks for the 80s kids Mal. It was either Liz or Leanne. I think it was Leanne from the Cocktail Hour at the Coop podcast. When I said I was doing slouchy socks, I did not show the pattern, what the pattern picture looked like. I did not show that. I just said I was doing slouchy socks online. And she asked me if I had Wigwam, is that right? Wigwam socks, which are the socks that I showed you prior to this, I think, when I put the picture in. I had no idea that they had a name. I just called them scrunchy socks. And like, that's what we called them, was scrunchy socks. And when you put scrunchy socks in Ravelry, it doesn't come up. And then I thought, I wonder about slouchy. And if you put slouchy socks in, then the scrunchy socks come up. But I'd never heard of Wigwam before in my life. So I learned something new. How many of y'all called them Wigwam? And why don't I know that? Why didn't I know that that's what they were called? I am using my Deep Dyed Yarns unicorn horn, which some of you may have seen us chatting on an Instagram live, which is a big thing right now. Look at these. 2 at a time, toe up. I did try a new toe. I looked up a round toe. I'm kind of excited about it. I liked it. It was very interesting compared to how I normally do a toe. My last few toes have been very wedge shaped, and I wanted a more round one, and I think I've accomplished that. Love the way it's flashing or pooling or whatever you call that. I think that's flashing. I would call that a flash and that a pool. No? Maybe this is flash too. I don't know. What do I have to say about this outside of that? I don't think anything. This is my entry for the 80s kids Mal. Although I think my Boxy Chevrons also fits. Okay, next, we're almost done. I got a couple gifts, and I waited to open them on camera just because I thought it would be fun. I did open the boxes, I just haven't opened the thingies. This is from Austin, and he is Austin's Craft Corner podcast, and he is also on Instagram as Austin's Craft Corner. I knew this was coming. He's popped in on a couple VKNs that we've been doing. He said he sent me a sample. Aww. Aww, that's so sweet. He sent me one of his enamel pins, a project bag, and a sample of his shawl pattern. Crinkle, crinkle. Smells good. It smells super clean. Oh, look, that's so cool. I don't know if you can see it. It's paper that has been a little envelope that's been sewn on a sewing machine. I'm going to have to ask him. I think he sells these enamel pins. Aww. Another enamel pin I can add to my banner. It's crochet tea. It's a little tea bag. Aw, super cute. Thank you, Austin. I'll link the link below. I don't know if he made this project bag or not, but I love me a good buffalo plaid. Thank you. And here is his shawl. Aw, look. Let me stand back. It's super light and airy. That's interesting. I like it. Oh, very wearable. Okay, Austin, you just said a sample of my shawl pattern, but it doesn't say what the pattern name is. So I am going to look it up. I'll link it below. I'll put the name of the shawl on the screen. So thank you so much, Austin. Go show him some love if you like that crocheted shawl. He has some other patterns as well. Okay, this next gift is from He has been a long time viewer. Okay, she said this has been a while in the making and it's a new to her craft. It's to say happy birthday and sorry about Olive. The giver chooses to remain anonymous. This person is also one of the people who got to meet Olive in real life. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, wow. Aww. It's a coaster. These are embedded in resin. It's flat. Oh, baby girl. That is super cool. Look at the layers. Wow. And that glitter. Oh, that's one of my favorite pictures of Olive too. I love it when her snaggle teeth were out. Oh my God. These are awesome. I almost said your name. These are awesome. Thank you so much. Wow. Those are amazing. There's Cole and Olive and Dan and I. And that says, live for the moments you cannot put into words. Truth. Hashtag truth. Wow. Those are amazing. Thank you so much. Those look great. You guys are so kind. Thank you so much. I really do enjoy this. You bring me joy. I hope that sounds so dumb. You bring me joy. I don't know why. Oh, is the quarantining getting to me? What is happening? Who says that? Chevis does not say you bring me joy. I'm getting a little slap happy here, folks. No, I really do have a lot of fun doing the podcast. Sometimes I do feel guilty when it takes me a while to record, but I'm also quick to remind myself that I'm doing this for fun and I don't ever want it to be a drag. So if there's a while between podcasting, know that I do have a guilty conscience and I kind of put a lot of pressure on myself sometimes. So I'm really very conscious of the fact that I do that to myself. So I will be the first to be like, no, slow your roll. It's fine. You'll record when you're ready. You know, if you're not, because I can't force it. I'll be honest, when I first started, I wasn't like my happy-go-lucky self or whatever, but I will always record. It might take me a little while. Just know that if there is ever a time where I want to stop doing this, I'll let y'all know. No worries. But thank you. I so enjoy reading all of the comments. That roadkill vlog was great. That wasn't even intentional. It just sort of came out. I know that a lot of people are sick and tired of being quarantined. You know, they want to go out and live their life and go out to eat and go to parties and go to events. And I get it. I totally get it. I miss my family. I have missed Cole walking His top teeth are coming in. I told Logan the other day, I'm like, I feel like I'm missing everything. By the next time I see him, he's going to be running with a full set of teeth. So I do miss that. But I am also someone who is not at all bored in quarantine. I am not at all bored in quarantine. First off, I'm working from home. There are certain things that I need to do in the office, of course, but for the most part, I am working from home. I have a lot to do. I don't understand the people who say they're bored. Between house chores and crafts and socializing, I probably socialize more now than I do any other time. I have been doing tons of VKNs. It's been a blast to meet some of you guys face to face. There's all these Instagram lives happening. It's just really cool to see how people are coming together during this time from faraway places sort of deal. I don't know. So I hope that you guys are also finding a way to socialize with your friends, whether it be through Instagram lives, VKNs, any of those things, new podcasts. I've caught some new podcasts, Needles at the Ready podcast. I want to say Kevin and Ray. I've only watched 2 episodes. They are pretty new to the scene, and I am just enjoying everything they're making. I've made some new friends in this whole thing. I've watched some great movies, some good shows. I did not watch the Tiger Show. I kind of watched the Tiger Show. I can't watch it because of the animals. It is heartbreaking to me. Dan watched it, and I was catching some things, walking in and out. All of my knitters have watched it. They've all talked about it. I've read all the 985 memes that have come out on it. Yeah, I get the gist, right? Crazy. I wish that I could have watched it because it's totally my flavor of shit show, except for the animals. I can't even stand to look at them in captivity. I just can't. I'm not sure if it's their latest episode. It might be their second to last episode of Sweet Tea No Shade. And they are on an Angela Lansbury kick. And now I want to go watch all the Angela Lansbury things. So I am going to close up shop, go take a shower, put on different pajamas, and grab my... I was going to say Susu. Maybe I am losing it, guys. That damn Susu. Never want to knit that again. I'm going to grab my Boxy Chevrons and look up some Angela Lansbury movies. And until next time, cheers.